Troy Mercanti can't play with his friends anymore.
No, the cops have delivered what they hope is a knockout blow to WA's outlaw poster boy. On Tuesday afternoon, they went to Troy's house and issued him with something called an anti-consorting notice. It's the first time this has ever been used in WA, and it's part of the tough-on bikies legislation that went through Parliament a few months ago. Under the terms of this order, Mercanti is banned for 3 years from consorting with named individuals who are members of a prescribed organisation. Those organisations being these ones.
And by consorting, the cops mean?
They mean communicating in any way whatsoever. In person.
Oh, okay.
By telephonic means.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Electronically.
He only had one volunteer.
Or in code.
You said he's the first person to be hit with one. What about that stuff in Mount Hawthorn?
That was different. That was a dispersal notice, which is like a consorting notice but only lasts for 7 days. First dispersal notice for Troy was back in December when he was having a beer with a prospective Mongol.
Listen, I need you on my team. You on my team?
Yeah.
In March, he was hit with one at Perth Airport. He was there to pick up a Mongol who had come west for a party. Mercanti was targeted again a month later when he was having lunch with his good mate John Kizon. That's the one that was at Lupo Lab in Mount Hawthorn's the one that you're thinking of.
This guy's persistent.
Who is he banned from seeing under the consorting notice?
Okay, lots and lots and lots of people.
Is your name on the list?
No, because I am neither a member of an outlaw motorcycle gang nor do I have a criminal record, and they're the two things that qualify you for being named in an anti-consorting notice.
Wow, you must have a really boring life.
There are 30 names on the list and a few of them will be familiar. Aaron LeBrook is better known as Carl LeBrook, although he's also known as Benjamin Evans, Aaron Carl Hoffer, Anthony Leonard Hoffer, Carl, and King. Carl's the head of the rebels in WA, very much an old-school bikie, delivered a eulogy at Nick Martin's funeral. He and Mercanti are mates despite being in rival clubs. They share a godfather.
What have I ever done to make you treat me so disrespectfully?
I'm serious, they do. Forgotten who it is, but they've known each other for a very long time. Also on the list is the guy accused of being the mastermind behind Nick Martin's murder, David Pye. Pye was a rebel, is now a Mongol, and was a Comanchero in between. Trent Fitzgerald used to be state commander of the Comancheros. There's Stephen Benny. He's the rebel-turned-Mongol who was targeted in an attack 8 days after Dane Brakovich's home was shot up in Ascot. Clovis Chikonga has got a particularly impressive number of aliases, including Clovis Jeremiah Meherbazi Chikonga and Marcus Sanders. Tamar Stevens, a very, very old friend of Mercanti's, he used to be head chef at Coco's restaurant and now runs a successful catering firm in the Pilbara. Dylan Gilardi's a Mongol charged with a couple of shootings in Perth's southern suburbs. Rosbay Tangshabani is in court after assaulting his girlfriend. The Aris boys are rebels. Michael, he's the one on the left, was busted for bashing his ex-girlfriend after using his 9-year-old autistic son as bait to lure her to the attack. Paul Masandi did time for a baseball bat attack on a rival gang member. His mate Jason Gasterov was part of that bashing. Gasterov was one of Martin's lieutenants at the rebels before he batched over to the Mongols. And now all those men, and 20-odd others, can't be buddies with Troy for the next 3 years.
Cops did well to convince the judge to issue the anti-consorting notice.
No. No courts involved with anti-consorting notices. None of that pesky judicial oversight. These things are issued by police off their own bat. They don't need to get a court order. But if you think you're hard done by, you do have a right of appeal. And your appeal will be heard by this guy. Cops don't even have to prove that Mercanti is in fact consorting with these people. It's good enough for Troy to consider consorting with them, or the cops to suspect on reasonable grounds that he is likely to consort with them. Indeed. Now look, I think bikies can go do one, but it says something that we have tougher laws to deal with a member of the mongrel mob than we do to deal with a member of ISIS. On the one hand, we're throwing the kitchen sink at disrupting bikies, but on the other hand, we're letting this guy out of jail. That's career paedophile Bradley Pendragon. You just have to look at him to know he's a pedo. He is creepy as Bradley has significant unmet treatment needs and believes that wanting to have sex with children is natural. Nonetheless, he's being freed from prison after a judge decided he was an acceptable risk to the community because he'll have to undergo therapy and will be monitored with an ankle tag.
I got
got a bad feeling about this.
The judge reckons Dragon has a better chance of being rehabilitated in the community than he does in jail.
You look sceptical.
This guy is going to reoffend. He can't help himself. He won't give a about an ankle bracelet or going to jail. He's 62. He's been in jail for a total of 31 years. First offended in Australia in 1982. Gets out of jail and goes straight to every pedophile's favourite destination, Thailand, where in 1993 he's arrested for raping and beating young girls. He's out of jail in 1996 and pleads guilty to assaulting a mentally disabled 9-year-old Thai girl. All in all, he does 13 years in the Bangkok Hilton. Comes to Australia in 2006 and gets chucked in prison almost immediately after being found with a thumb drive loaded with child porn and bestiality. I've said child porn, but it's child abuse material. Judge lets him out after a year because, wait for it, he has a better chance of being rehabilitated in the community than he does in jail.
How'd that go?
Not great. In 2009, he's busted with more child abuse material. The police prosecutor tells the judge back then he shouldn't get bail because, and I quote, he's a bit of a sick puppy. When he does get out, he goes up to a new mum who's taken her 11-month-old daughter to Mercy Hospital, and while she's in her car, this guy gets in the back seat with the kid and, armed with a kitchen knife, puts his arm around the mum's throat as she's sitting in the front seat. She has to fight him off. Cops charge him. Again. He gets put in jail. Again. 2 days after getting out, again, he goes to an internet cafe and starts watching child abuse videos in front of everyone and loses his shit when other people call him on it. He's sentenced to 4 years and 4 months jail for that. That was back in February 2019. Doesn't serve the full term, of course. Nobody ever does that nowadays. He's sentenced to 52 months in jail and he's out in 28. He'll be targeting kids the second he is out of jail later this month. Guaranteed. But hey, as long as he doesn't join a bikie gang. I'm Ben Harvey. For more update, click the subscribe button below.